There is nothing more engaging than a good rivalry. From historic victories to soul-crushing defeats, these are the 10 best NFL rivalries. Number 10, the shortest-lived rivalry on this list, is the New York Jets versus the New England Patriots. While they've been division rivals since 1960, the rivalry took center stage during the Rex Ryan era. Ryan's defense gave the juggernaut Patriots fits. While the Patriots won most of these meetings, the Jets were loud, obnoxious, and a tough test for the Patriots every year. In 2011, the Jets finally knocked off the Patriots in the playoffs to advance the AFC Championship. The Jets had the win and bragging rights for a year. We won't get into the butt fumble here. Bad choice of words. And at number 9, we have two of the most storied franchises in NFL history, the Steelers and the Cowboys. The Cowboys lead the all-time series wins 17-16. They met in the Super Bowl on 3 separate occasions, which is the most by any two teams. The Steelers have won 2 of the 3 Super Bowls. Both teams can be considered the most loved and hated franchises in the NFL. Both franchises have a long history of success. Are the two related? Yes. The Steelers, however, have been successful in the last 27 years. The Cowboys went to the supermarket for cigarettes in 1996. We haven't seen them since. But they'll win the Super Bowl next year, right? At number 8, we take a look at our first AFC North matchup with the Browns and the Bengals. There have been exactly 100 games between the two teams as of this video, and the Bengals have won 52. Both teams have their fair share of great seasons and embarrassingly terrible seasons. For some reason, they're always hand in hand with each other. Neither team won a playoff game in the 70s. Both teams were contenders in the 80s, and so forth. While the Bengals are 0-3 in Super Bowls, the Browns have never been to a Super Bowl. Bengals and Browns fans, I ask you this: is it better to have loved and lost, or never to have loved at all? For our number 7 entry, we take a look at our second Steelers appearance for the rivalry with the Patriots. As with most Patriots rivalries, they stem from the Brady era. Tom Brady versus Big Ben Roethlisberger. Both teams were all but a lock in the postseason during this era. In Big Ben's Hall of Fame career, his record of 166, 82-1. Unfortunately for the Steelers, they could not overcome the Patriots. The majority of the games were competitive and hard-fought, but Tom Brady was 9-3 against Big Ben and 2-0 in the postseason. Both victories were in the AFC Championship, making the losses even tougher to swallow. The rivalry was exciting nonetheless, even though the outcome was all but predetermined. Our number 6 entry sees another recent rivalry with the Patriots, this time the Indianapolis Colts. Rivalry which saw 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time square off on a regular basis. Every year you can guarantee they'll be in the playoffs together. While the quarterback matchup was a complete stalemate, the Patriots' biggest advantage was Bill Belichick over Tony Dungy. Dungy was good, but certainly benefited from having a Hall of Fame quarterback playing for him. Unfortunately for the Colts, they lost 4 out of 5 playoff matchups. The outlier being the Colts' second Super Bowl victory in franchise history, and first since moving from Baltimore to Indianapolis. Having lived through this rivalry, these games were always exciting, even though the result was somewhat repetitive. Number 5 is the NFC East rivalry between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. The overall numbers don't tell the entire story of this rivalry. The Cowboys lead the Eagles with 73 wins to the Eagles' 55. The Cowboys have 5 Super Bowls and the Eagles have 1. Although the Eagles only recently took home the trophy, they have always stood toe-to-toe with the historic Cowboys. Since 2001 and the Andy Reid era began, the Eagles have all but dominated the NFC East. They've won 10 out of 22 division titles, as the Cowboys have been solid every year. They have yet to make it past the second round of the playoffs. The majority of the games are competitive and entertaining with memorable moments. These games typically wind up on Sunday Night Football for the world to see. Regardless of your opinion of either team, the games are worth your time. Sorry world, but our number 4 is another Cowboys rivalry. The late 80s and early 90s dominated by the Cowboys and 49ers. Troy Aikman versus Steve Young, Dallas and San Francisco. Every season would go through one of those two towns. The Cowboys and the 49ers traded wins in Super Bowls in the 90s, but the rivalry has continued. These days, it's mostly the 49ers hammering the Cowboys or embarrassing them on national television, including their Week 5 matchup in 2023. The Cowboys hung in there and lost 42-10. In all seriousness, if you like to see the glory days of this rivalry, you want to check out their games from the 90s. Does everyone hate the Steelers? Why do they have so many rivals? For our number 3 entry, the Steelers versus the Ravens. The Ravens and Steelers have battled it out since the Ravens were introduced in 1996. Both teams were known for bone-crushing defense and solid quarterbacks, Joe Flacco of the Ravens and Ben Roethlisberger of the Steelers. Each team has won 2 Super Bowls since 2000 with an overall record of 34 wins for the Steelers and 25 for the Ravens. The numbers don't tell the whole story. These games were fierce, brutal, hard-hitting, all the adjectives that make it tough to get out of bed the next morning. Legendary players like Ray Lewis, Troy Polamalu, Joey Porter, and Ed Reed led these defenses to some of the best games of the series. At number 2, the fiercest rivalry in the NFC East, the Eagles and the Giants. From Jaworski to Sims, Manning to Wentz, this is one of the boldest and wildest rivalries in NFL history. The Giants and the Eagles hate each other. The fans of both teams hate each other. The first Miracle at the Meadowlands was a perfect example of this. Typically, if you have a chance to win simply by kneeling, you take it, no questions asked. But the Giants wanted to punish the Eagles, to rub it in their face, that they would not be in the playoffs thanks to the Giants. However, the Giants fumbled the ball and the Eagles scored when they shouldn't have had the opportunity. A series filled with strange touchdowns, hard hits, and championship wins. Typically, these games are a must-watch for football fans. And at number 1, we look at the NFL's oldest rivalry between the Packers and the Bears. If you're a modern NFL fan, you have to ask yourself if these two teams even belong in the same league, let alone the greatest rivalry. The two teams have a combined 67 Hall of Famers in their history, including 22 NFL championships. But since the Super Bowl was introduced in 1967, the Packers have 4 and the Bears only 1. Through the 1980s, the Bears were dominant over the Packers. Since then, it's been all green for the Packers. Favre and Rodgers have made the Bears their victims for nearly 3 straight decades. What did you think of the list? Did we miss anything? Let us know in the comments. If you want to see more, we have more videos down below. Thanks for watching.